Testing? Okay. Just making sure the sound was working. All right, y'all. So today we are working on standard RI 9.6. And I know that doesn't mean much to you, but our objective is I can identify rhetorical devices in real-world examples. So we're going to be breaking down what rhetoric is. That's our big vocabulary for today. And then the different strategies and techniques you can use when looking at rhetoric. So let's get started. First step is we're going to watch this little video, and total disclaimer to those wonderful people on the YouTube, that is our helpful guide here. This is not any attempt to steal someone else's work. Total credit to the wonderful people that made this video, but we're using this for educational purposes. So in our small groups, which we're not doing small groups, so I need to remove that, but what I want you to do is as we watch the video, I want you to jot down, what is this video trying to persuade you to think? So what does it want you to believe? And then how is this video attempting to persuade you? So what strategy are they using? All right, so let's watch.
I dreamed a dream in times gone by, when hope was high and life worth living.
I dreamed that love would never die. I dreamed that God would be forgiving. Then I was young and unafraid, and dreams were made and used and wasted.
But the tigers come at night,
with their voices soft as thunder, as they tear you apart,
as they turn your dream to shade.
and still I dream he'll come to me, that we will live the years together.
But there are dreams that cannot be, and there are storms we cannot weather. I had a dream my life would be so different from this hell I'm living.
So different now from what it seemed. Now life has killed the dream. I dream.
Okay, so, oops, sorry. Back up. Could you back up, please? Me and technology have been arguing all day. Okay, so obviously what we are trying to figure out is what is the video trying to persuade you to think or do. And through our conversations today, I found a lot of different answers, some of them that I'd thought of and some of them that I didn't. So let's just start with just looking at this picture right here. What do we think that conveys? I think one thing this image really reinforces is, that this bird, his environment is being ruined, right? So one thing that you might say is that we need to take care of our environment. Another thing is that you need to be kinder to animals. We have that shot of the rhino without its horn and its little baby and how they're so sad and upset. So those are just two different ways you can look at this video. And then we're also supposed to be thinking, how is the video attempting to persuade you? So what strategies are they using? And I had one student today that hit the nail straight on the head, was 100% right. And her idea was that by giving us these images of these animals and like their eyes and like the way this video is animated, it really makes you sympathetic and emotional toward what's the plight of the animal. So what is going on for these animals? So that transitions us into what rhetoric is. So rhetoric is the art of persuasion. So how we are persuaded. And that's why I feel like it's so important, because we are always, unfortunately, being persuaded one way or another, right? Someone is trying to persuade us of something. You should believe this, you should believe that, you should buy this, you should buy that. These are concepts that we are very used to. So that is what rhetoric is. And there are three main ways that people can utilize rhetoric. So we have ethos, logos, and pathos. We're going to look at all of those in turn. So number one is called ethos. It is an appeal to authority. It also involves a credible person. And what it means to be credible is that you theoretically know what you're talking about. So for example, your teachers are credible sources. A academic source is a credible source. Theoretically, the president is a credible source. So there are two techniques that we can look at when it comes to ethos. In advertisements, so specifically in advertisements, they tend to use celebrities to sort of use their popularity to make their case and like make people believe in them. And then in literature, we use what's called an allusion to another, like to a powerful person. And I want to pop out of, yes, I do know how to use Google Slides. All right, I want to pop out here and I want to define allusion for you in case you either have forgotten what the word means or you never knew, and that's okay. All right, so allusions. An allusion is when one writer references another piece of literature or historical figure. And see, that was not correct. Figure. There we go. All right. And like, this is not the dictionary definition of an allusion. And I'm going to create a handout that talks a little bit more about allusion so you can sort of see that. But that's the quick definition. When one writer references another writer. So, for example, if I were to write a speech and I were to sort of reference President Barack Obama, that would be an allusion to that person. And I would be trying to garner some respect from that person. All right, so let's watch this video and then talk about how it appeals to authority.
Time to play some baseball.
Baseball?
Yup.
I can do baseball. We can play baseball?
I'm in.
If we can play anything. Sport? I'm in.
Seriously.
Anything.
Put me in, coach.
Sign me up, dude.
It's time to play. Woo!
I'm not picky.
All right, so that's kind of a silly video, right? It's talking about, wanting to play and, all this stuff. And they have a couple shots of them drinking Gatorade. And, you see that they're wearing Gatorade towels around their necks, So it's obvious that the ad is for Gatorade. And the question at hand is, I've already told you that this is ethos, right? So the question is, how do we know and why? Why do we think this is ethos? And the simplest answer that one can give is because we are using these celebrities. And even more than that, we're not just using celebrities, we're also using athletes. So we're giving this image of this famous athlete, and we're saying, maybe if you drink Gatorade, you will be this successful. You'll be able to be as successful as this person. So that's the idea behind ethos. All right, logos is very simple. It is an appeal to logic. It's got numbers. So if you see anything with numbers, that's going to be logos. So let's look at this commercial.
In the last 2 years, Verizon only added LTE coverage for 5 million people. T-Mobile, they added 100 million.
Verizon didn't tell you that, did they? T-Mobile doubled its LTE coverage in the last year, now reaching nearly everyone Verizon does. Plus, our extended range LTE goes twice as far and is 4 times better in buildings than before. And T-Mobile is America's fastest 4G LTE network. Switch today.
All right, so this is very simple, right? They start out talking about, numbers. So we know that this many people have changed to T-Mobile in this amount of time. And then they give us percentages of how you can use it in a building. 4 times as many people have been able to use it in a building, all this stuff, silly sort of, but it's genuine. It's what they're trying to use, this logic, this reasoning, and these statistics, these numbers, to help persuade you to switch your coverage to T-Mobile. Woot woot. Moving on. That one's boring. I don't like it. You can tell. All right, now pathos. This is our appeal to emotion. Essentially, they're trying to make you feel something. So let's look at this and figure out what emotion they're trying to stimulate here.
Hey, brother, there's an endless road to rediscover. Hey, brother, know the world's sweet but blood is thicker. Oh, the sky comes falling down for you. There's nothing in this world I wouldn't do. What if I'm far from home? Oh, brother, I will hear you call. If the sky comes falling down for you, there's nothing in this world I wouldn't do.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and total disclosure this for you. Coke almost always uses pathos. They're trying to simulate these happy, good vibes. Coke is always just these happy, happy-go-lucky. Let's think about family. Let's think about tradition. Coke, that is what Coke does. So in this video, we have these familiar feelings of the brother sort of teasing his little brother. And then, when someone tries to bully or tease the little brother, the big brother's like, no. And so that's a familiar feeling. That's a nostalgic feeling most people can relate to if you have a sibling. So they're trying to stimulate that happy thing. So you'll think, Coke is synonymous with being happy and having happy feelings. All right, now before I switch to the next slide, we are going to put on our most mature English student hats, and we're going to talk about the election, the big kahuna, what's happening in November, right? We are going to sort of unpack the rhetoric in 2 campaign ads. So we've got one from Vice President Joe Biden and then one from President Trump, right? And we're going to sort of break down the rhetoric in these ads without worrying about the politics behind it. We don't got time to deal with that. I don't got time. I'm not worried about it. I am just worried about how are they trying to persuade us. So we're going to watch this one and we're going to sort of talk about it, and then we're going to watch this one and we'll talk about it.
I was sworn into the United States Senate next to a hospital bed. My wife and daughter had been killed in a car crash. Lying in that bed were my 2 surviving little boys. I couldn't imagine what it would have been like if we didn't have the health care they needed immediately. 40 years later, one of those little boys, my son Bo, was diagnosed with terminal cancer and given only months to live. I can't fathom what would have happened if the insurance companies had said for the last 6 months of his life, you're on your own. The fact of the matter is, healthcare is personal to me. Obamacare is personal to me. When I see the president try to tear it down and others propose to replace it and start over, that's personal to me too. We got to build on what we did because every American deserves affordable healthcare. I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Okay, so really unpacking this particular ad, I'm actually going to pop out here so I can type in my little text box over here. So first of all, when I watch this, I think it's looking at a lot of pathos. There's 2 that I see that are very prominent, but the first one I notice is the pathos. You know, Biden uses images of his sick family members to garner sympathy, right? He wants, to show or to earn this sort of sympathy and show that, he's been in that position, right? And so here, let me get some color in this background. Okay. And then I want to look specifically at the 2 examples. So number 1, first, his wife and daughter die in a car wreck. And then his son dies from cancer. And I want to take just a second and sort of reflect on the way in which they present his son. So, okay, nothing can be easy. We need to pop it back out. So I want to look at the photo. So what image they give.
I was sworn.
Quiet. I don't need you to talk right now. All right. So I think it's very intentional, the image they give. You got these cute little pictures of them as children, and I think the fact that he chooses to use his personal images is very for a reason, But if you look at this image, of his son that ends up dying from cancer, he's in his military uniform. And I can't help but feel like they did that on purpose. He is a military. He's a soldier. Let's just go there. He's a soldier, and that gives another layer of why it's sad that he's died. That's just, it gives more emotion. It also gives a little more credibility to that person. It's not just the vice president's son. It's also an American soldier has died. So that's something to look at, definitely. And then there's also this element of ethos. Biden capitalizes on his, excuse my spelling while I'm typing too quickly. All right, so he capitalizes on his connection with, we're just not going to fix it, Obama and Obamacare. right? He kind of goes and he reminds us that, you know, I was friends with President Obama, which because a lot of people, you know, everyone should have a healthy respect for Obama. He was a he was a good president and all that good stuff. So I'm sorry I'm struggling to talk. I've talked too much today, and so here we are. And so everyone theoretically has some respect for this person. So he's like, you should have respect for me because I was connected. I was a part of that administration. Okay, very good. So now let's take a look at this slightly longer clip from President Trump. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Oh, my sound's not on. Y'all can't hear the words that are being said. Oh, there we go.
America is a land of heroes, a place where greatness is born, where destinies are forged, and where legends come to life. This is the home of Thomas Edison and Teddy Roosevelt, of many great generals, including Washington, Pershing, Patton, and MacArthur. This is the home of Abraham Lincoln, Frederick Douglass, Amelia Earhart, Harriet Tubman, the Wright brothers, Neil Armstrong, and so many more. This is the country where children learn names like Wyatt Earp, Davy Crockett, and Annie Oakley. This is the place where the Pilgrims landed at Plymouth and where Texas patriots made their last stand at the Alamo. The American nation is carved out of the vast frontier by the toughest, strongest, fiercest, and most determined men and women ever to walk on the face of the earth. Our ancestors braved the unknown, tamed the wilderness, settled the Wild West, lifted millions from poverty, disease, and hunger, vanquished tyranny and fascism, ushered the world to new heights of science and medicine, laid down the railroads, dug out the canals, raised up the skyscrapers. Our ancestors built the most exceptional republic ever to exist in all of human history, and we are making it greater than ever before. This is our glorious and magnificent inheritance. We are Americans. We are pioneers. We are the pathfinders. We settled the new world. We built the modern world. And we changed history forever by embracing the eternal truth that everyone is made equal by the hand of Almighty God. America is the place where anything can happen. America is the place where anyone can rise. And here, on this land, on this soil, on this continent, the most incredible dreams come true. This nation is our canvas, and this country is our masterpiece. We look at tomorrow and see unlimited frontiers just waiting to be explored. Our brightest discoveries are not yet known. Our most thrilling stories are not yet told. Our grandest journeys are not yet made. The American age, the American epic, the American adventure has only just begun. Our spirit is still young. The sun is still rising. God's grace is still shining. And my fellow Americans, the best is yet to come.
I hope that sigh was audible in the video. That was so full of rhetoric. Okay. I wish we had time to just unpack all of the rhetoric in both of these ads, but this is already a very long video, so we're not going to do all of it. My first impression, the first thing I notice is a lot of ethos, right? A lot of evoking the credibility of other people. So, what? There we go. Okay. So, Trump uses the names / images of powerful people. All right, so let's just give some examples. I don't know if anyone else noticed this while we were listening, but I felt like this particular video was a lot of Republican ideas, and like seems like a campaign ad for President Trump really should be a campaign ad that speaks to Democrats, since he's the Republican candidate and he theoretically has the Republican vote. But that's neither here nor there. All right, so we had people like Harriet Tubman or Neil I've been spelling that wrong all day. Sorry, y'all. Neil Armstrong. Who is another one? Oh, Abraham Lincoln. So we got Lincoln. We had God, that godly, he kept saying over and over again, the nation of God, smiled upon by God, all this, heavy religious imagery and conversation. And I was just like, okay, calm down. You need to calm down, in the words of Taylor Swift. Okay, so that is one way he tried to use ethos. And I just want to kind of connect this to an emotion, so a piece of pathos that he tried to use. I do know how to use Google Slides. There we go. All right, so he uses, for pathos, there are two main emotions I feel like he's trying to capitalize on, and that is this pride, of being an American. And that can be seen, in these names and images of these powerful people. This person was an American, and this person was an American, and you're an American, so this amazing thing can happen to you too. These are the ideas that I think of when I'm hearing this particular speech. Okay, and then we also have this hope for the future, so this hopefulness. And that comes, I think, in the title. So our title is "The Best Is Yet to Come," right? And he repeats that a couple times in there. And then you also have this sort of inspirational music going on in the background. And I think all of that's very intentional to create this hopeful, if you vote for me, then this will happen kind of feeling. Okay, now I know that's a lot. And we danced around that, and we could go deeper, but we don't have time. So let's move on. Your directions for today's assignment. You are going to choose one of these, so one of these random things. And then for that product, you are going to make an advertisement that you're going to make one advertisement that uses ethos, one that uses logos, and one that uses pathos. You're going to make 3 in total, one of each. And all of them are based on the same object. So you should use a different tactic, right, to sell. I want you to sell me a water bottle 3 different ways. So you're going to have 2 options. You can either get a piece of paper and some crayons or markers or whatever you have at your house and do it on paper, and then take a picture of that and turn it into Google Classroom. Or you can use Google Jamboard or Google Slides if you're more comfortable with that, and add the elements you need and upload that to the assignment. So I want you to not be stressed out over making this beautiful and perfect, but I do want you to make it very clear that you understand the difference between these 3 things. All right, I hope y'all have had a wonderful day. Thank you for logging on to listen to this video, and I hope it was helpful. Shoot me an email if you need me. Bye-bye.